Alright traders, I'm back again with another video, and today we're going to go over support and resistance trading. There's a lot of opportunities that I'm looking at in the market using just support and resistance. No Ichimoku today. A lot of times Ichimoku isn't good in certain markets. Ichimoku is made for a trending market, and to trade it in a range is tough, and we're in a range on some of these pairs. Just like this US dollar Swiss franc, we're in a range, and I'm going to go into this and show you why and how and everything else. But I wanted to let you know that I got a new computer today, so with that new computer I'm going to be able to do more things. I had a junk computer prior that I was using, and it was slow. I couldn't do things that I really wanted to do. So what I'm going to start doing is doing those Google Hangouts. So I'm on Google Plus, Chaos Trader 63. You can follow me on Google Plus, and if you're following me, what I'm going to be doing is every Thursday I'm going to have a Google Hangout where it's going to be a live broadcast where we'll be able to discuss trading opportunities, discuss Ichimoku, discuss support and resistance. Anything that you want to discuss, you'll be able to ask me questions, and I'm going to have things that I'm going to be just going over, and then you guys can ask questions and I can try to answer them right then and there, and we'll do that for about an hour. So it's going to be like every Thursday at at 11 a.m. Central Time. So that's what I'm looking at doing, and probably start doing that next Thursday. Alright, but let's get into the market here. We're looking at the US dollar Swiss franc on a daily time frame, and like I said, this pair is in a range. This pair was dropping down. You could see the move down. So it was bearish, then it hit this level here, then it made a resistance level, and then it came back to that support level. So we hit that support level twice, and then we hit the resistance level twice. We're definitely within that box. Okay, so if we're in that box, we're in a range. The market is trading within that level, these two levels, so we're in a range. Until the market breaks out of there, then we're going to continue to trade this range like a range trade. So range trading, you're going to buy and sell support and resistance levels. All right, so you want to buy support and you want to sell resistance. Okay, and the higher you can sell resistance, the better. So this is a resistance level here that we're looking at, and we want to be selling this level, and you never want to do anything other than sell resistance and buy support. And the reason I tell you that, if you buy in this level, then you're buying it high, because this level could drop back down and then you bought it high. Alright, because the rules of support and resistance are: resistance holds, the market drops; support holds, the market moves up. Now the way it's going to tell you that this level hasn't held is if it breaks and closes above that level, then comes back and retest that level. Now you're not always going to retest the level, so there will be opportunities that you miss. And you're still going to be following the basic rules of support and resistance, because you're still going to be buying support. And how you ask? Because when the market breaks and closes above this resistance level, this level is now support. So when it comes back and tests that level, that's where you buy that level. So you're buying support again. You're not buying this as resistance, you're buying it as support, because you got a confirmation that the level is now support holding and you want to buy it. Okay, now this doesn't hold true all the time, because support and resistance levels are broken, and once they're broken, they don't always have to be retested or tested. And if you do get a retest, it could be a while. It could be one candle, or it could be one day, or 1 week, or 1 month. But you look for that retest of that level eventually, and then you're going to buy that level. So when the market closes above that level and continues trending up higher, you're waiting for the market to come back to that level. You set your price alert, and you get an alert when the market gets close to that level, and then you know that you want to be buying that market. So when you're playing support and resistance levels, you want to have price alerts set in, so that you know that you're alerted when the market gets close to your level, and then you can start taking action. You don't have to sit and watch these levels. You just put a price alert in, and boom, the market will warn you. You'll hear your alert go off, or you get a message, or whatever, however yours does, and then you can look to see what you want to do at that level. So this level, I want to look to trade this level, and I want to look to sell this level. okay, because I'm selling resistance. Now if the market closes above my level, I still can wait, and then I can wait for the retest and then buy the support level. But then again, you still have to be careful, because what happens here is these big institutions, these big banks and stuff, they catch traders looking for these breakouts of these levels. You could see where they caught a bunch of traders here, because they moved the market way up here. All these people buying here, buying here, buying here, buying here, looking for the long opportunity, and then they pushed the market all the way back down. And if you're stuck up here, you have to wait for the market to come back, and it could not it could be a long time before it comes back, and it could go really far down before it comes back, which can close out your account depending on how much you're risking, as far as lots. So if the market closes way down here, comes down here, touches here, and you're way up here, you bought that at the highest level. All right, so that's what I'm saying, that you're buying this high. Even if you buy it here, you bought it up here, the market's way down here. But now we have to wait and see what's happening here. This is a daily candle, so you can't jump the gun here. This is a long pin bar, but at the end of the day, this could close way up here, and then this might confirm to me that this is now going to be a support level. So I'll wait for a retest of that level, and I'll buy that level. So that's how you're always buying and selling the levels the way that you're supposed to be. That's how you're always buying support and always selling resistance. You're waiting for it to change and turn into resistance or turn into support. Now how am I going to enter the market? What I'm going to do, there's a couple ways to enter the market. I'm going to show you one way right now. You can stay on the daily time frame if you want to, and you can put an entry order right below this pin bar level right here. And then there's even other things about that. You can enter here on the break of that level or a close below that level. Now there's two things. Aggressive trader, or if you're aggressive, you want to go ahead and trade this level as soon as it breaks. Now I think that it's a good thing. It all depends. Sometimes it's not, but you have to look at your opportunities. I think it's a good thing, because when it breaks this level, it keeps your risk low, because your stop loss isn't going to be as big, because you want to put your stop loss probably above this level, but even above this pin bar is a good thing too. But if that's too far, this level is going to be good, a couple pips above this resistance level here. Okay, so that would be a good stop loss. And then if the market just broke this level, then your stop loss isn't that big. But now if the market closes way down here off of a candle that you're waiting for it to close, and it closes down here, and you want to stop way up here and you're trading this level, I don't know if you want to get into that trade. Your risk is more, you're risking more. So this is keeping your risk lower, just trading the break of that level. That'll keep your risk lower. Now another thing you could do is go to the 4-hour time frame and find a better entry. Now you go to the 4-hour time frame, what you see here is this is going to be a bearish engulfing candle at a resistance level. Okay, sure, yeah, we closed above this level. Support and resistance levels are not exact, they're zones, they're areas. Now this level is pretty, I have a zone here, so I have a lower level and an upper level, but we closed above both. But then we had a bearish engulfing candle. With that bearish engulfing candle, now I can enter the market right here on the close of that candle and go short. All right, but now we're above this 50-period moving average, so who knows how far down this could go. And the 50-period moving average is not really doing much. It's zigzagging because we're in that range. And I move down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see how much more it zigzags. All right, so like I said, you got that bearish engulfing candle. There's a lot of ways to enter this market, and that was one way. Now another way would wait till you get a break below this fractal level, and this fractal level is going to line right up with that daily candle. So it's the same level right here. You're going to get a break below that or a close below that, and put your stop loss above this fractal level. Now here's the fractal that's made resistance for us here, so this is way up here. All right, so I'm not gonna trade this pair right now because I have some other things that I'm looking at, and I'm going to get into those. Let's go back to the daily time frame. Now you see on the chart I have this orange looking line here. This is going to be my 50 period moving average. This moving average follows the market really well. That's why I have it on here. And it's also going to be a support and resistance level. And I'm going to show you. Look at this trend and look at how the 50 period moving average is following that market. It pulls back to that level. Basically it pulled back to that resistance level, but the 50 period moving average was right there with it. Pulls back to this level here, right on the 50 period moving average. Pulled back there. Pulled back and closed above, not much, and came right back through. Pulls back here. Look at all the touches, all the entries you could have had planned off of the 50 period moving average. And show you on another pair, Euro CAD, same thing. Market's moving up, pulls back to the 50 period moving average, pulls back here, pulls back here, pulls back there, and so on. Same thing with the pound dollar. We're in a trend, the market pulls back to there, pulls back there, pulls back there. Now when we're not in a trend, look what it's doing. This pair is not trending. This is flat, pretty flattened out. Alright, so you know that you're not in a trend, so you must be in a range. Alright, so you look for your range trading opportunities. And then here it's all over the place. The market's not really doing much. You could see when we were trending what it does. You can see when we are trending how well it follows. And I also like using the 100 period moving average and the 200. I'm not going to have them all on my chart at the same time. You don't get as much good pullbacks as with the 100 period moving average, and rarely with the 200. It's basically a lot of using it as support and resistance. That 100 period moving average, you do get good pullbacks there, but you know, when you're really trending and you're not pulling back real deep, the 50 period is the one that the market follows, and you can see how well it's doing it. Once we broke that level, fell below it, we started to fall and took a long ride down. So that 50 period moving average is really following the market really well. Alright, so let's go back to our trading. Now being that we're looking at the daily candle, like I said, we have to wait for this candle to close, so we don't know. Right now this is a big pin bar, but we don't know where it's going to close, and we have like, I think we have 4 hours left. Yep, 4 hours, 3 hours and 50 minutes before this candle closes, and a lot can happen in that time. We can end up way up here or somewhere, so we'll wait and see. Then we'll trade this level and see what's going on. We can't make any assumptions that this is going to be a long pin bar. I mean, really it looks like it is, but we want to wait and see because a lot of things can happen with the market. Alright, so CAD, Swiss franc, daily time frame, same thing. You got this pin bar here. You got resistance here. You could see all these hits right here, and to me, if the market hits that level a lot of times and comes back and tests it, I think it's a strong level. A lot of traders tell you that the more times that the market gets hit, that the level gets hit, that it weakens that level. Well, it's showing strength to me if it's hitting it 2-3 times and can't break through. Yeah, eventually it's going to break through, but look at how many times it hit it there. So it was really strong, and then the market fell. Now the retest, we want to see if that retest is going to hold. Everything applies to what I told you on the last chart. You know, you got this pin bar. If we closed here like this today, you have this pin bar like this right at the resistance level. We don't want to be buying that level. We want to be selling that level. They did the same thing to these traders up here. They all got in on the breakout of this resistance level, and they're stuck up here until the market gets up there. Hopefully it doesn't drop on them and get way down here and take out most of their accounts, or you know what I'm saying. But we want to see this level stop here, and we want to see a candle open and close lower than this level here. We don't want to see anything going up higher than this level, and then what we'll trade is the break of this level here. Now there's a lot of ways. Again, you could go down to the 4-hour time frame and find that level and get into the market, and different candlestick formations will get you into the market. Okay, so again, you got a bearish engulfing candle, and you're at support right here now because you broke and closed, but we want to see if this level is going to hold. So it's resistance here, And if it holds, it held here, it looks like it's support. Now if it holds here with this next candle, then it is going to be considered support. We'll see if the market goes up. All right, and see if that pin bar holds on the daily time frame. I find the daily time frame with pin bars to be very strong. So you have that on the US dollar Swiss franc, the CAD Swiss franc. All right, let me see one thing here. All right, so that's CAD Swiss franc. Let's go to Euro CAD. Euro CAD, you can see the same thing here. This is the support level. You're at support. Market hit it a couple times, a whole bunch of times on the daily time frame. So you have all these days where this level was hit. Then the market moved up, came back close, and now we're at that level again. So we want to be buying this level. All right, unless this level breaks and you get a close below it and then it drops and comes back and retests it, then we want to be selling it, because now it'll be resistance. But right now it's support. We want to buy support, so we want to look for an opportunity. But we're not going to look for an opportunity until this market closes and tells us what this is. Is this going to be a long pin bar like this, or is it going to be a bigger candle, you know, with a bigger body? So we want to wait and see, because we still got, like I said, 3 hours 46 minutes to go on a daily time frame using this candle. So we're not sure what this candle is yet to tell us what's happening with the market. All right, but right now it's still, everything is pretty bearish. You know, a lot of indecision here, but we haven't shown where the sellers are, where the buyers are really pulling into the market strong. You could see them here because you got buying here, so they're keeping this level higher. They're keeping the level from dropping by buying here. So there's some buying pressure down here. So we want to wait and see on the daily time frame, and then we could look for an opportunity. And we'll go to the 4-hour time frame and look for an opportunity. And there's none yet because we want to wait for that daily to close, and then we'll start looking. The way the 50-period moving average is rolling over, you know, we'll see if this level holds. All right, let's go to the pound dollar. Pound dollar, you have the same thing. Basically, we're at this support level. Now if we could we can trade the daily time frame and don't look for a entry, a better entry on the 4-hour time frame. So what we're going to look for, if this candle closes, now we have that base here that we want, because we have a bearish candle, then a bullish candle. So you have a red and a green candle forming this base right here. So what you'll have is, if this candle closes here or a little higher, maybe you have a Pearson line or a Harami, and then you want to look for the next time you want to find a candle that closes above this candle here. So this last bearish candle, we want to get a close above the open of that candle. So if we get a close above that level, and then we can find a better entry if we drop down to the 4-hour time frame. All right, so on the 4-hour time frame, you have that pin bar here. This candle close, you can enter the market right here and put a stop loss right here. All right, so you got that pin bar on the 4-hour time frame right at the support level. And then another thing that you see here, the market made a low here, and then it made a lower low. All right, and then on the oscillator here, the ultimate oscillator, you had the low, but then you made a higher low. So when the oscillator makes a higher low and the price is making a lower low, that's divergence. And when you see that divergence, that's going to be regular bullish divergence, which indicates that maybe you want to, this level may hold. So if we're looking at this level holding off of the divergence, because you can see that, let me show you guys even better. If you don't see that, the market's going down, making lower low. The oscillator's going up, making a higher low. It's showing you that downward momentum is dying here. If that downward momentum is dying out, then we're expecting maybe this support level holds. Okay, so if that momentum is dying out and we have that divergence like that, then maybe this level holds, we can get in off of this level. All right, so that's what I'm looking at as far as the pound dollar. Let's go to the US dollar. This is the 4-hour time frame right here. Remember, we dropped down on there. So if we go back to the daily time frame, there we go. You got that indecision candle here, and this candle still has 3 hours 42 minutes to go, so we don't know what it is yet. But if it closes like this, that's an indecision candle here, and you could see the it's a green candle, so you had buyers coming into the market, so that shows us this level is getting strong. This level may hold, and we look for that entry on that 4-hour time frame like I showed you with the divergence. So now we're going to the US dollar yen daily time frame, and looking at the US dollar yen on the daily time frame, we're right at this support level here. We hit that level a few times, and there's a couple ways I'm going to show you here. You see that this 50-period moving average just is flattened out, and we could have played this bounce off of this support level a whole bunch of times in a whole bunch of ways. And when I tell you, drop down to the lower time frame if you want to get a good entry, you could trade this level here. So we had a bearish candle here, right? So we had that bearish candle, then we had a bullish candle, and this is a candle that closed higher than half of that candle. So this is a Pearson line candle higher than half of the bullish candle, that half of the bearish candle here. So this green candle closed more than half of this candle. All right, so that was going to be a sign for us to look for it. Our next candle, we want to get a close above this level, but our next candle came back down, so we couldn't get into the market here, but then we had to break above this level. So on the daily time frame, I want to close above that level, but if I wait for a close above that level, look how high that is. So that's taking me way too far. So we had this bearish candle and we closed on support right here. So now I want to go to the daily time frame, to the 4-hour time frame, and find my entry. But I also see the next candle, if I'm waiting to see if this level is going to be confirmed, if I can get a entry off of the 4-hour time frame. So let's go find where that candle was so we can show how we would have done that. Alright, so that bearish candle is continuing down, and here's where it ended. Alright, so what now we want to do is get a close above the candle that formed the support level. So we had that level here. This is the big bearish candle that formed the support level. So you're here, you're here. Now we could wait and do two things. We could get a close above this level. This is the bearish candle. That'll get us a better entry than on the daily time frame. And if you took that bearish entry right here with a close or a break, either one, it depends on your style. Now if you took the close, you're entering the market here, right here on this candle. Alright, so let's put a little line there. You would have taken the market at the close of this candle. Your stop loss would have been under this fractal level. You would have been safe when the market pulled back down, tested that level again, and then took off. Alright, so that was on the daily time frame. You move down to the 4-hour time frame and you saw that, and then again you also see this. Staying on the 4-hour time frame, you see this level. You got the level here. You have a touch here, so that's a point, and then you have another touch. When you see that, look what this oscillator is doing. You have divergence again. The oscillator is moving up, so maybe it's telling us that the momentum to the upside is increasing, and that would be an opportunity to get into the market again. And then you could see where you had multiple opportunities to get in the market off of price action, off of these candles. And I'm not going to get into it right now because there's a whole bunch of opportunities to get in here, and you could have bought this support level, and look where the market went. And it does the same thing here. So many opportunities to get in. And you can see the divergence again. You can see that divergence And this is all I use this oscillator for, is to see this divergence. I don't trade overbought or oversold, no matter where it goes. I'm just looking at the divergence. I want to see if the momentum to the downside is dying, and it is, because we're still going lower, but the oscillator was going higher. So that gives me a clue that this support level may hold. So then I'm going to look for a way to get into the market, and the way I get into the market is off of the price action candles. Looking for candlestick formations that'll get me into the market. You see the reversals and you see the reversal signals, and then you look for entry to get in off of some kind of price action candle. And we'll get into those eventually, not today, but we'll get into that. But here we are again. Now on the 4-hour time frame, this level looks strong, because look at that pin bar there, and it closed or rejected that level. You still have the market continuing to move down. It takes a while to get rid of some of these some of the sellers, but eventually the buyers will take over, and move this market higher off of this support level. Not many times did it come here and take right off. It took a while to get off of that level. Same thing here. It took off a little bit here, but it came back. You still had people that were hard-headed and didn't want to listen, and had to get out of the market here. The market pulled the market all the way back down here, and then the market took off. Now here it took off pretty quick, still a couple candles, but it took off nice. A lot of times it's taken a little while to get rid of the sellers for all the buyers to take control of the market, and then boom, it took off. Some strong levels, it's just like you could see the institutional traders just making that level and taking off, and that market just takes off. You got a big candle, like say this was your level here. You could see that big candle here. Institutional traders are doing this. Retail traders can't do this. So you have this push way down here. So look how it took off from that level. Alright, so same thing if it takes off from a support and resistance level. But a lot of times you're not going to be able to catch this level, because it takes off so big and so far, unless you already have an entry order set at a certain level. Then you might be able to catch that. Aussie yen daily time frame. It's the exact same thing. We're at support. We're above this 50 period moving average. We're at two. We have confluence here with the 50 period moving average and this support level. Alright, you can see that little pin bar here, and what the market did, took off. We may be getting to a little range here. See what's going to happen here, because I'm going to say this is going to be my support and resistance level here. And I'm trying to get as many bodies on that level as I can. I got two here and I got two here, so that shows me that this level is strong. Now a lot of traders come up and put it at the wick here. What I do for stuff like that, I make that a zone. So I would have made this a zone, because you did have trading in this area. So I would make that a zone. And now I know that price can move up into that zone, but if it closes up above that zone, then I know maybe we're changing. So that whole zone here, and this is the daily time frame, so that zone's going to be big. Alright, so I know that the market can move down, hit this level, and come up into that zone, and then anything can happen in that zone. We may be in a range here, and it looks like we pretty much are, so we're looking for this level now. So we're a little bit away from anything here. We got to wait till the market hits this level and shows us something, so we can find an entry to get into the market and take a long entry. But we still have a while to go before that. We need to come down, get near this level, then start showing us that this level is holding, and then we can do something with that level. So this is an opportunity on the horizon, but not yet. Probably won't be this week, maybe next week. Euro Aussie, same thing here. You bounced off of this resistance level, so right now there's no opportunity here. I'm not even looking at this pair yet. I need to put some more support and resistance levels in here, but I'm in between this area that I like here. So I'm going to wait on the market. I'm not going to do anything here. Now there's other opportunities to get in the market, not off of the support and resistance level, but knowing that I don't really want to enter the market in between the range, so I want to always get it as close as possible. But there's other opportunities to get into the market, pullbacks and things of that nature. So we're not going to get into that right now either. So that's Euro Aussie, and then the Aussie Swiss franc, the last pair that we're going to look at here. This is showing an opportunity also. What you see here is this support level here and this resistance level here, and how I got these levels you could see. Boom, you got to hit there, then you have bodies here, you have bodies here, and then you have a long candle break here, and then you have this level here with the wicks. You got a wick here, a wick here, and like I said, you always want to get the bodies in there, but look at the range, it's so tight. Now that's on a daily time frame, so I got the bodies in here. So when I go to a 4-hour time frame, you could see that little zone here. Here's that zone, and a lot of times I'll make it into a all my zones I usually make into rectangles like this. Make a rectangle and leave those on my chart. So I see that zone, and right now we're above that zone. So let's go back to the daily time frame. The daily time frame is above that level. You have these long wick candles. In order for me to enter the market here, I need to get a close below this level here. Close below that level, and that would get me into the market. Let's make the line here. Basically get a close below there. Go to the 4-hour time frame. And really, to get into the market, you know, we don't even have our fractals on here. There's a fractal level, fractal level, fractal level. You're breaking these fractals higher now. You see what I'm saying? You got a high fractal here, you move down, you broke that high fractal, you broke that high fractal, you broke that high fractal. So you're making higher fractals, you're breaking each fractal high. That tells you the market's moving upwards. Alright, so we don't really close below a low fractal when the market's moving upwards, so there may not be an opportunity on this unless we close below here. Alright, and this is just on the daily time frame. This is on the 4-hour time frame. This is a pullback. But then we go to the daily time frame, and that's basically, it looks like we formed another level. So yeah, we have to wait on this market and see what's going on here. I want to be sure that this level, the market is honoring this level or this level. So I want to get below my zone to get into a trade. So we're off of that one still too. We need time to wait on that. And you can see if this candle closes below there, then I want to get a close below that level and enter the market. I'll put a stop loss a little above this level, and then I'll ride this down. Alright, but that's what I'm looking at, support and resistance. That's all I can see in the market right now, guys. So I'm going to close this out because that phone is ringing telling me it's time to go. So until next time, traders, hope you guys are learning something. Hope I'm helping everybody, and till next time, God bless. So long.